inside the Iroquois Park Sports Centre in Whitby, Ontario, home of the Ontario Lacrosse Festival. Tonight plays host to the Brooklin Lacrosse Club and the Cobourg Kodiaks in Major Series lacrosse action. Jack Moore alongside Andrew Osmond. And Andrew, a big game for both of these teams. A win for either team makes a huge difference in the standings going forward and into the playoffs here in Major Series lacrosse.
Yeah, for Brooklyn, they're coming in looking for a win. If they do so, they clinch at least third in the standings as we take a look at it here. Sitting comfortably over Cobourg, both at 12 games played. They do have that 6-point advantage, so that extra 2 points here tonight would put Cobourg out of reach from catching Brooklyn in the standings. As for Cobourg, they're trying to hang on to that final spot. Good position to be in, though. They are tied with Brampton, who only do have one game left to play. So that win here tonight in Cobourg can seal the fate for Cobourg to move into the playoffs and eliminate Brampton out of contention.
Brooklyn had a chance last night to clinch that third and final playoff spot. They go into Six Nations. They lose 16-6 against a really tough Six Nations Chiefs team who look like they're running away with Major Series lacrosse in the regular season so far this year. Lyle Thompson with 3 goals, 3 assists. Same with Randy Stotts. How does Brooklyn turn it around here tonight against Cobourg?
Well, I think if you look last night in Six Nations, the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues was their power play. Not the fact that they didn't score the goals, but they gave up 5 shorthanded goals, did the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club in that contest. Something you can't do. You can't allow goals while you have the man advantage, let alone 5 against a team like Six Nations that if they get that lead, they're not giving it up anytime soon.
Now let's take a look at the head-to-head matchup between these two teams. The Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, of course, with that 6-6 record, as we mentioned earlier, but this is a Cobourg team that can run and gun with the best of them in Major Series lacrosse.
Yeah, they are coming off a win against Brampton, so they're looking hot, whereas Brooklyn's coming off 2 straight losses to Peterborough and to Six Nations, like we mentioned. Season series, though, going the way of the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. That only loss they had against Cobourg was the first game of the year, May 28th, when most of the team for Brooklyn was still playing in the NLL or was taking some time off, so a lot of call-ups in that game, whereas tonight, got guys like Kyle Waters in the lineup. The Kiernan brothers are also playing. Those guys did not play against Cobourg in that first game of the year, so a bit of a different squad since the last loss that came head-to-head here for Brooklyn.
Brady Kiernan coming off 2 goals and an assist last night on the Six Nations reserve. Connor Kiernan had a goal and an assist, and Brooklyn looking for a victory against Cobourg today. We will get to your starting goaltenders after the national anthem. Getting you set for the opening face-off between Brooklyn and Cobourg from the Iroquois Park Sports Centre in Whitby as we take a look at tonight's starting goaltenders, Andrew.
And first up, we're going to look at Jackson Brown getting the start here, back-to-back games. Coming off a win against Brampton in that one last Sunday, a 57-save win in that one. He's getting the nod here again tonight. He's played 9 games, this being his 10th on the year, and he'll look to keep and secure that playoff spot for Cobourg here tonight. On the other end of the floor, we're going to look at their number 1, Riley Hutchcraft, who I am helping right now with the sun that we are dealing with. Oh, we got a shield there. Perfect. Riley Hutchcraft getting the nod again, the number 1 goaltender here for Brooklyn. No stranger to that net. He's been in it multiple times. Coming off a new deal in the NLL, which we will talk about maybe later on today, but nonetheless, he's getting the nod here. He's been the number 1 goaltender for the last little while after Nicholas Demude is no longer with the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, and we get set for face-off here in Whitby.
Jonah Beam on the opening draw for the Cobourg Kodiaks against the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. Like you mentioned off the top, Andrew, Cobourg took the first game of the season series, but Brooklyn 2-0 in the last two, and they win the opening faceoff, and Zach Kerrigan will look to work it up the floor as Brady Kiernan on the attack early. His shot kicked out. That's a good job by Jackson Brown to get the right leg on it and gets the opening save just 20 seconds into the game. Cobourg looking to set it up offensively. Nick Ellerton on the floor. Tanner Buck, the big piece offensively for this Cobourg team, and they score. David Anderson gets his 20th of the season, and just 36 seconds into the first period, it's 1-0 Kodiaks.
And just like that, David Anderson, as you said, is going to put Cobourg up 1-0 here early on in the first minute of play in the first period. And it's on the first offensive rush of the game as well for Cobourg, 1-for-1 with the ball. And just taking that shot from well out of the zone, maybe a miscommunication there defensively on who's going to take the man. He had a bit of space there, David Anderson did, and on a free shot on net, and it beat Riley Hutchcraft.
A little bit of early movement from Cobourg off the faceoff, so Brooklyn gets it off the draw again. They had the opening possession of the game. They got stopped on a right pad save from Brown, and then Cobourg made no mistake on their first shot of the game. So Sean Wesley and Brooklyn looking to convert, but Connor Kiernan can't put that one home, and Cobourg gets another stop, but Kiernan wide open in front of the Cobourg net.
And this has been a problem we've seen from Brooklyn this season, is they're getting right in front, and they're getting those balls right in front of the goaltender, but they can't handle those passes to get decent shots off, and we saw it right then again from Brady Kiernan.
Austin Murphy couldn't find that pass in front of the net. Cobourg retains possession. They go off the boards, and that is going to be over and back after Marshall Palace couldn't hold the offensive end of the floor, so it's Brooklyn ball in Cobourg territory. Liam Osborne, 8 goals and 5 assists on the season, works it around to the big Kyle Waters. Quinn Highland on the floor as well, getting some action. Tanner Cook with a shot, and that gets stopped by Jackson Brown. Stretches the floor immediately. Tyler Hendricks in, and he can't haul in the pass. Hutchcraft traps it down in the crease. That could have been an early 2-0 lead for Cobourg. Now Brooklyn back at it at the offensive end of the floor as Sean Wesley sets up. Waters works it around. Kerrigan off to Kiernan. Brady Kiernan into the middle. Kyle Waters over the top. That misses the net. And Hendricks, who just missed on the breakaway opportunity moments ago, corrals the defensive rebound. Hendricks looks it off to Austin Murphy. 2 goals in, an assist on the season. This Cobourg team can score with the best of them. That shot comes from Anderson, who has the lone marker in this one in the early 2.5 minutes. Rebound picked up by Brooklyn, and they stretch the floor. Tanner Cook couldn't find it in front of the net. That was picked off. Marshall Palace turns it over to Cook. He scores! A mistake on the defensive end of the floor by Cobourg. Tanner Cook makes no mistake for his second of the year, and we have a 1-1 game, 2:33 into the first.
Well, if you can't handle a pass from your own team, might as well intercept the others, and that's exactly what Tanner Cook did here. That one-handed pass, a bit too easy off the stick of Marshall Palace, and taking advantage is Tanner Cook right here. You see it in front, makes a couple moves and goes far side, had the goaltender cheating to his left, and tied this one up here quick.
So last time we saw the face-off at center floor, Jonah Beam moved a little bit early. This time it was Mike Burns, so Cobourg gets the face-off and possession. Great job by Cook to keep that left foot in the air as he was releasing that ball, as working it around. That shot stopped by Hutchcraft, and Brooklyn finds the rebound. Taken away in the offensive zone by Aaron Woods. Cross floor, and that shot stopped by Riley Hutchcraft. Keenan Cook looking to get center floor, and he does, to Connor Kiernan, who slows things down at the offensive end, trying to get a screen on Tyler Hendricks. Sean Wesley steps in. Now flipped off to Wesley in front of the net, and he hit the post. Rebound picked up by Brooklyn, and they get a fresh shot clock. Pass in front of the net. Kiernan scores. Went crashing into the Cobourg goaltender. It'll count anyway. Connor Kiernan, 13th of the season. He had one last night against Six Nations. Back-to-back goals for Brooklyn. It's 2-1.
And after that nifty pass that almost worked out for a great shot here from right behind, beating his man to the ball and receiving that pass. Connor Kiernan right here breaks away from trouble, finds that ball. The ball's only in his stick for maybe half a second, and he gets that ball on net below the legs of Jackson Brown and gets Brooklyn the lead for the first time in this game.
Beautiful look from our behind the net cam set up by our incredible crew here at RogersTV Durham. So 3.5 minutes into this first period, Brooklyn allowed a goal on the first Cobourg shot of the game, and then have responded with two of their own, Tanner Cook, Connor Kiernan, and it's 2-1 Brooklyn. Cook is back out onto the floor as that cross-floor pass for Kiernan hits the wall. Cook to Kiernan in front of the net, and he missed on the near side, and Cobourg able to find that loose ball as Holden Lowe's up the floor for the Kodiaks. Now a quick shot in front of the net, but stepping into the crease was David Anderson, looking for his second of the game as Brooklyn quickly back up the floor. You can tell this transition game is important for the lacrosse club in this one early on, as Connor Kiernan picks up that rolling ball in the corner with 15 to shoot. Kiernan flips it inside, chance in front of the net. That one gets turned away by Brown. Liam Osborne with the chance for Brooklyn.
Couple nice rushes there for Brooklyn, not taking their foot off the gas. 2 quick goals back-to-back to get the lead, and they're not hanging around to wait to see what happens from Cobourg. They're going at the goaltender fast and hard.
Carson Moyer started this transition on offense. That shot turned away by Hutchcraft. Cole Hanrahan with the opportunity. Rolling ball in the Brooklyn zone, and finally able to corral it was Brooklyn as they work it back up the floor. That one gets taken away, and Carson Moyer with it. Man in front of the net is Aaron Woods, and a foul against Brooklyn will give Cobourg the ball on the offensive end of the floor. Kodiaks working it around. Getting a screen, Moyer works this one off to Anderson, drives into the net, spins away from pressure. David Anderson up top, tried to flip it down low for Woods, off the corner boards, and taken away by Brooklyn. Now another good job on the offensive forecheck by Cobourg, but Brooklyn able to get it up the floor, now have a 2-on-1. Jacob Saunders steps in, missed the net, just misses the rafters, and Kerrigan can't keep it at the offensive end of the floor, so we get over and back against the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. You can tell pace is very important to both these teams early on. They want to catch the other sleeping in transition. Hanrahan over the top. That one just missed Riley Hutchcraft, and that is into the rafters and out of play. It's Brooklyn ball. Now up the floor is Kyle Waters. Flips this one off and drives in towards the net. Tanner Cook couldn't corral it. Wesley couldn't find the loose ball, and away goes Cobourg. Nick Ellerton driving in, spinning away, and his bounce shot misses the net over the top glass, and this will be over and back against Cobourg.
Well, Tanner Cook went right to the bench on that rush, and straight off the bench came Scott Reed to break up that breakaway chance.
Brady Kiernan, cross floor. Kerrigan couldn't find it in the near corner. Zach Kerrigan working against Hunter Agus. Now it's Connor Kiernan. Flips it into Waters, steps in, stopped by Brown, bouncing ball. Waters in front of the net. Wesley couldn't corral it. Stick in the way thanks to Bo Columbus. And Cobourg with possession at the offensive end of the floor with some numbers in front of the net. Cross floor passing, stopped by Riley Hutchcraft. Chances at either end. 2-1 Brooklyn here. Just over 7 minutes gone in this one. Brady Kiernan up top. Lost the handle on the cradle. Kiernan knocks it off to the boards. Tanner Cook picks it up. He shoots. That gets blocked in front. Bounces to the near wall. Brady Kiernan couldn't find it, and away goes Cobourg. Zaire Newbro works it off, and now Carson Moyer will slow things down as Cobourg gets their defenders in transition, players off the floor. Marshall Palace, 3 goals, 27 assists on the season 30 points. David Anderson picked up his 20th of the year for his 31st point. That shot gets through for Cobourg. Aaron Woods gets his 13th of the season, and we're tied at 2.
It's another clear shot from well out that's beating Riley Hutchcraft to tie this game up at 2. As you said, Aaron Woods just cuts to the middle of the floor. Maybe has a bit of a screen there from the Brooklyn defender on Riley Hutchcraft. But Riley Hutchcraft's got to come out a bit more than that, maybe to challenge the shot that comes from well out. Second one from almost the same spot that beats him rather cleanly.
Not quite at the midway point of this first period. We've seen some action on both ends. Cobourg wanted to slash there as Hendricks drives into the net, and he missed. Tried the bounce shot on Riley Hutchcraft, and he just missed the net. Ball goes out of play. It's Brooklyn ball. But Hendricks, not only defensively, but getting it done in transition and with an offensive chance there. He had a breakaway chance earlier that he just missed. Tanner Cook drives in, cross-floor pass gets knocked away. And now Cobourg looks to stretch the floor again. They do, with numbers. Ben Doherty slows it down and waits for some help as Marshall Palace quarterbacks this offensive possession with 15 to shoot. Palace behind the back, works it off to Hanrahan. Now it's Anderson. Has a lane, scores! Second of the game for David Anderson. 2 unanswered for Cobourg, and it's 3-2 Kodiaks.
Well, Brooklyn gets back-to-back goals, and now Cobourg does the same to regain the lead here with some back-to-back goals pretty quickly. 5 goals in the opening 9 minutes of this game between the two teams. And it's David Anderson again. That time he just gets away from trouble. Brooklyn just leaves him alone there. A nice pick play as well by Cole Hanrahan to kind of cause some disruption, I believe, on Trent Boyd, so couldn't cover his man. Anderson, who had a clear shot on net, and getting that one past Riley Hutchcraft.
Some pressure off the face-off win by Cobourg, and Brooklyn comes away with the ball. Tristan Hanna right at the mid-floor stripe, and Zach Kerrigan will slow things down. Had a hot start to the season, has relatively cooled off as the season's gone on. You know, going into the playoffs, Brooklyn would like to get him going offensively. He couldn't find the ball there, especially if they're going to have to play Peterborough in round number 1. Holden Lowe's driving in, works this one off. That one stopped by Hutchcraft. Curtis Romancic on the chance for Cobourg, and now Brooklyn in transition quickly. Off the end boards and unable to corral his own pass was Caleb Creaser. He was the 3rd goalie for Team Canada at the World Championships, where Canada was the silver medalist after losing the gold medal game to Team USA. Home debut for Caleb Creaser in this one after being acquired via trade just before the World Championship started. Previously played for the Peterborough Lakers in Major Series Lacrosse, so Brooklyn excited to add that transition play of Creaser. Had an effective role on Peterborough, but loaded with talent that Lakers team is. Same with Six Nations. Top 2 teams in Major Series Lacrosse. It looks like they will have spots 1 and 2 in the playoffs, which would give them home floor advantage. Anderson. Relatively fresh shot clock here for Cobourg after they found the bouncing ball. 15 to shoot. Anderson by himself off to Palace behind the back. Stopped by Hutchcraft. And Josh Taguri able to trap it down in the crease.
David Anderson all over it. Has a couple goals, but what about that pass there? That almost worked out for Cobourg. And I think we're getting a time violation to bring it up the floor there on Brooklyn. So Cobourg is going to go back offensively.
Very physical game so far. And now Tyler Hendricks in a battle with Jacob Saunders in front of the Brooklyn net as the two exchange some blows to the chest. Now it's Marshall Palace. Works that one off. Moyer in the corner as Hendricks gets dropped down and draws a penalty. Adam Perrone picks off that cross-floor pass. And Cobourg is going to the first power play of the game. 10 minutes, 46 seconds into period number 1.
And it's Tyler Hendricks who took that big bump from Adam Perrone. They were going at it. Hendricks was going with a couple guys, and Perrone was one of them. You'll see it here. Watch number 20 just lean in. Boom, lay him down there. Without the ball, Hendricks falls to the floor and gets the first power play of the game. This one going for Cobourg.
Kodiaks trying to take advantage here of the man advantage. 9:14 to go in period number 1. A 3-2 Kodiaks lead. It was 1-0 for Cobourg, and it was 2-1 for Brooklyn. Now it's 3-2 for Cobourg. A chance to stretch it to a 2-goal lead. It will be the first 2-goal lead for either team in this one so far. Marshall Palace up top. Hazelane missed the net. Anderson couldn't find the rebound, and it's picked up by Aaron Woods. Anderson lost his stick, gets it back. Palace underneath, and that one stopped by Hutchcraft. Hendricks up top, off to Palace. Now Hendricks again. Palace. Backhanded shot gets turned away by Hutchcraft, and that rebound gets picked up by Scott Reed in front of the net. He'll bring it over center floor, and Brooklyn trying to kill off some time here. Can get this down to about a minute if they use the full shot clock, as Connor Kiernan onto the floor for Brooklyn with Zach Kerrigan. Tanner Cook, fresh off the bench. He's open, he's calling for it, gets it on the near side. His shot whistles high. That was a rocket, and that goes for over and back. So it's Cobourg ball in Brooklyn territory with a fresh 30 and 1:01 to go in the power play.
Yeah, just over a minute to go here. The big guys on the floor once again for Cobourg here. Brooklyn scrambling to set up. They got that box going now.
Ball working around. Here's a shot from Anderson looking for his power play goal, but can't find it. And Brooklyn works it back up the floor, and again trying to kill off some clock.
And Cobourg had it there. They had Riley Hutchcraft moving. They had some open net. That shot from David Anderson just missed the net.
Looking for the hat trick already in this one. Still got 7:45 to go in the first. Tanner Cook, cross floor. Kyle Waters gets stopped by Jackson Brown as he was acrobating towards the net. Big body of Kyle Waters showing off the athleticism but unable to get it home.
Usually the big guys don't have hands like that. Kyle Waters, not one of them.
Yeah, I know that for a fact. Marshall Palace up top. 3 seconds to go in the power play for Cobourg. Off the end wall for Woods. That gets picked off by Brooklyn. They have a chance in transition. Out of the box is Peroni, and he gets stopped by Jackson Brown. Now rebound picked up by Brooklyn. They get the restart. Saunders cross floor, and that one gets turned away as Caleb Creaser with a chance in front of the net. Great chance there for Brooklyn twice. Caleb Creaser and Adam Peroni turned away. Peroni, his lone 2 points of the season have been goals. That shot bounces into the meshing and out of play. No deflection, so it is Brooklyn ball still, and they'll work it back up the floor.
Jackson Brown solid right now for Cobourg in net. A couple nice acrobatic saves and some positional saves as well to keep his team in the lead 3-2.
Brady Kiernan's cross-floor pass gets picked off, and away goes Cobourg. Darren Ubro works it into the middle. Murphy, his shot off the base of the end board, and that gets picked up by Tanner Buck. Relatively quiet in this one for the 47-point player. Can hit 50 with 3 points here tonight in this contest. 19 goals, 28 assists. Playing in just his 13th game of the season. That one goes out of play. It's also a time count violation, so it's going to be Brooklyn ball. Top point getter in the game for Brooklyn is Connor Kiernan with 35 points, 13 goals, 22 assists on the year. That's including his goals so far tonight. Cobourg gets a lot of offense, but they get it from a couple of guys. Brooklyn seems to be able to spread it out a little bit more.
And they haven't had that secure lineup. A lot of guys in, a lot of guys out. The Kiernan brothers took a few weeks, missed a handful of games this MSL season. Kyle Waters missed a few after making his return as well. Luke Pilcher not in the lineup tonight. They haven't had a full big squad at any point really this season, has Brooklyn. We'll see if they get it together by playoff time.
Feels like Brooklyn relatively solidified themselves and have into that third spot, obviously 6-6, and an important one here today and a close game early on against Cobourg. But it does feel like they're that big player away, maybe one or two guys away as they score on the cross-floor pass. Connor Kiernan second of the game, and ties us at 3 with 4:54 to go in the first.
Well, you talk about big guys. There's the big guy right there coming up clutch, trying to match David Anderson on the other end with 2 goals. He does so here to tie this game back up once again. Connor Kiernan gets that nice pass from Tanner Cook, who was already running to the bench knowing it was going to be a goal from Connor Kiernan. Some great passing effort there from the big man Tanner Cook, who's got 1 goal, has got another point now. And we're tied up at 3 with just under 5 to go in the first.
Good start for Connor Kiernan. The point I was making was it feels like they are that one big goal scorer, one big facilitator away. They have really good secondary pieces, but really feels like they could be a Dyson Williams, Ryan Lansbury away from, if the 2 of them are here, it makes a huge difference in what this team can do. Kyle Waters' shot. And obviously this team has put together a really good regular season so far. But you wonder about what this team could be come playoff time. But you can't think about the guys who aren't here as a bouncing ball gets kicked away by Hutchcraft, and then he makes the following save with the right shoulder.
Yeah, bouncing ball, he kept track of that. The ball came right up, and Cobourg threw it right back on net, and he made that right-hand stop.
Hutchcraft makes the save. Hendricks steps in the crease and couldn't put that one home. It's going to be Brooklyn ball, 4 minutes to go in period number 1 in a 3-3 game. Pass in front of the net. Kerrigan hits the post. Just seems to be that quarter-inch away, and because it hit the post, there is no over and back, and it will remain Brooklyn ball as Kyle Waters is the one to find it. That shot by Wesley gets turned away by Jackson Brown. Brooklyn finds the offensive rebound again. Sustained offensive pressure can be huge for this Brooklyn team, but it's about putting it away when they get those opportunities. Kerrigan's shot stopped by Brown, so they won't get it on this offensive possession. But this is a turnover, and Brooklyn gets it right back.
An unnecessary pass there from Jackson Brown, a bounce pass when he could have just easily lobbed it to the defender to move up the floor.
It's been well over a minute of offensive pressure for Brooklyn. They don't get a shot away after the turnover, and this one will calmly be run to the offensive end of the floor by Cobourg to set up with under 3 minutes to go here in period number 1. Marshall Powless stepping away from Mike Byrne, gives him a good check as Powless has the ball knocked out of his cradle, and Brooklyn will look to work it back up the floor. Connor Kiernan out there looking for his third as that shot gets stopped by Brown. Tristan Hanna trying to get his second of the year, but Brown up to the task there.
Tristan Hanna did that all himself from behind his own net, dodged a couple men, took a hit or two, a slash or two, and eventually got the shot on net himself.
Anderson, he's looking for his third. Powless facilitating up top and drives in, gives a screen. Powless gets it back. Into the middle, here's Woods. Woods into the corner, cross floor pass, and that shot by Buck gets turned aside by Hutchcraft. Peroni shovels it forward for Caleb Creaser in transition for the world silver medalist. Liam Osborne flips this one back to Kiernan. Cross floor for Cook, looking for his second of the game, and able to get a leg on it was Bo Columbus. No shin pads in lacrosse as Cook fires another one that just misses. That's going to be over and back. He's had a couple rockets in this one so far.
Yeah,
as we have some pushing and shoving right in front of the Cobourg bench. Brady Kiernan is going to be going to the penalty box alongside Hunter Agus. The Cobourg ball, I believe, with 93 seconds to go in period 1 in a 3-3 game. We don't have offsetting.
One actually. Yeah.
Brady Kiernan stays on the floor. Brooklyn's going to the power play for the first time here tonight.
And you see it start there at the bottom of your screen, just taking Brady Kiernan completely out of the play, unable to change. Whereas Cobourg's able to change because he's within the zone on the bench there to allow a man to come on the floor offensively. Brooklyn, however, not able to get off the floor for a change. That's where the penalty's called.
Brooklyn works it around on their first power play opportunity. Cook scores! 19 seconds is all it takes. And Brooklyn regains that 1-goal advantage with 1:14 to go in the first on Cook's second of the game.
Yeah, second goal of the game, and is one of his many shots he's had on net. He's got quite the power in the cannon in that arm, and he gets the pass here. Ball moves around from Brooklyn. He's going to be on the near side here. Gets the pass now. Takes a couple shots and then goes a bit on his tippy toes there to get the angle. He's already that big body presence, but wants that extra couple of inches of angle to get it over the shoulder of Jackson Brown, and that's exactly what he did. Restores the lead here for Brooklyn. Trading punches have we here in the first period. Back and forth, both teams getting the lead and tying it up. 4-3 now for Brooklyn here with a minute to go.
They get the ball back, looking to go 2 for 1. That power play's been pretty good for the most part on home floor this season for Brooklyn. Kerrigan driving in, forced back. Quinn Highland couldn't find it. Over and back against Brooklyn. And that's going to be Cobourg ball on the restart. Tyler Hendricks plays for the Toronto Rock in the NLL. You can tell by that nice royal blue helmet he's got on. That's into the crease against Jacob Saunders. 31 seconds to go in period number 1. So Cobourg calls timeout, trying to take advantage. Jacob Saunders just stepped into the crease, and that turnover gives Cobourg back the ball.
And yeah, Cobourg's gonna take their timeout here, draw up a play. They only have 15 seconds on the shot clock. I don't know if they're discussing whether or not there should be, or no, that's the timeout clock I was looking at. But yeah, they're gonna go over a play here with 31 seconds, well, 32 seconds to go here. It's pretty much hold for last shot if you would like. Off that turnover, they should have a fresh shot clock. And Brooklyn now talking things over. Jason Crosby not here, the head coach for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, not here tonight, just cannot make the game. So Gavin Prout was sitting in the head coaching spot when we went to talk to the coaching staff pre-game, and after a tough 16-6 loss yesterday for Brooklyn versus Six Nations, the message from Gavin Prout was just short memory and forget what happened less than 24 hours ago. Maybe that was a bit of a pun there with the 5 shorthanded goals allowed in that game, as Cobourg is indeed holding here for last shot with only a few seconds different between shot clock and game clock.
The 3-second differential as they reset the clock during that timeout. So with 6 seconds, Palace will work it off to Anderson. Works it around, quick shot, they score! 4.5 seconds to go. Tanner Buck gets his first of the game and 20th of the year, and we're tied at 4.
You were wondering where Tanner Buck was. Well, that's where he was. He was waiting for the last 5 seconds of the period to get his first goal of the game to tie this one up before the end of it, to go to period number 2. Waiting for the clock to wind down, and then a couple quick passes high up in the zone. Had Riley Hutchcraft really had to follow that ball across the floor, and then it went down low to Tanner Buck, who was able to get that one past Hutchcraft to tie this one up before the end of the first.
So that Jacob Saunders foot in the crease proves costly for Brooklyn. The difference between taking a 1-goal lead into the intermission and being tied at 4 like they are against the Cobourg Kodiaks, 2 teams who have been tight all year. Relatively same number of goals per game, relatively same number of goals allowed per game. They're 2-1 in 3 games so far this season. Cobourg looking to tie the season series at 2 games apiece and clinch a playoff spot. Brooklyn trying to clinch 3rd place and assert their dominance over Cobourg and Brampton just a little bit in the standings, but they've got some work to do over the next 40 minutes.
Yeah, a bit of work to do. An even game back and forth. No team able to get out to a multi-goal lead. Really back and forth, both teams tying it up and grabbing the leads, and we sit at 4s after 20 minutes of play.
Tanner Buck's 20th of the season ties us with just 4.5 seconds to go in the first period. We'll talk more about this one and what's going on in Major Series Lacrosse in your first intermission coming up next. You're watching Major Series Lacrosse on RogersTV. done here in Whitby as the Brooklin Lacrosse Club and Cobourg Kodiaks tied at 4 at the first intermission on Major Series Lacrosse on RogersTV as we welcome you into the broadcast booth. Andrew Osmond and Jack Moore. Andrew, back and forth first period. Cobourg first possession of the game. They score. Brooklyn gets 2 back. Then Cobourg gets 2 back. Then Brooklyn gets 2 back. And then Cobourg scores with just 4.5 seconds to go in the first period. Couldn't have gotten a more tightly contested match in the first 20 minutes of play here.
And I think that's what you might be looking for in the MSL is the third and fourth place teams kind of battling out for the third place. Cobourg knows it's maybe a bit out of reach, but you got to win out and you got to take care of business when you face the team you're trying to catch. So that's exactly what they're doing here. They want to relax in the next couple games. You know, if you win here today, you secure your spot in the playoffs. You maybe have a sense that you are that 4th seed. Brooklyn can win just one game and then it's out of hands. You are that 4th seed, and it almost gets set in stone that you are facing Six Nations. So you have a couple games to tee up for that. So maybe that's, the game plan here. Both teams want the win, so they know in the next games coming forward really what they're looking at for the rest of the regular season so they can get ready and primed up for playoff time.
Well, is Brooklyn coming out of the gate winning the opening faceoff as we take a look at the highlights from that first period of play? They get the opening possession, but it was Cobourg striking first.
Yeah, and on the first offensive possession, it was right there, a clean shot from way out front. David Anderson makes no mistake and gets his first of 2. We'll see the second one, I'm sure. And here's the turnover here. Given up by Cobourg right into the hands of Tanner Cook. That big body gets his first goal of the game. He had a couple decent shots. Again, we'll see maybe another goal from him in this highlight pack. As you mentioned, Jack, goes back and forth, and Connor Kiernan comes flying through the center of the floor, grabs that pass from behind the net, courtesy Sean Wesley, and puts that one past Jackson Brown to get the lead. And then right back quickly was Cobourg there to tie it up off the stick of Aaron Woods from well out again, beating Riley Hutchcraft. And David Anderson's second goal of the game there gets the lead once again for Cobourg. And then down the floor here's a break out of the box for Adam Peroni, and that one is stopped by Jackson. Another great effort for him. Jackson Brown keeping Cobourg within this one. And then again here, cutting on the floor, far side of the floor rather, is Connor Kiernan for his second goal of the game, flying in, beating his defender to that ball. And on the power play, Tanner Cook had a couple strong efforts, missed just high that time, no mistake, goes right over the shoulder of Jackson Brown to get the lead back for Brooklyn. But near the end of the period, right at the end of the period, after a timeout and a foot in the crease violation against Brooklyn, gave Cobourg the ball, and Tanner Buck is able to tie it up at 4s there with 5.5 seconds to go in the first period, and that's where we sit, 4-4 after 1.
Tanner Cook been a nice addition here for Brooklyn coming into the game, a goal and 2 assists. Limited action so far this year. He's got 2 so far, and his NLL teammate in Kyle Waters with the Calgary Roughnecks, the 2 big guys, Kyle Waters 6'4", 205, Tanner Cook at 6'3", 225, and these guys are getting it done offensively, able to assert that physical presence. And Tyler Hendrick's been playing quite physical for Cobourg here. This has been one of the more physical games we've seen Brooklyn play, and they're not backing down from what Cobourg's bringing to the table either.
No, Cobourg's definitely standing in strong there, but you got small guys like Scott Reed as well for Brooklyn that aren't backing down. A lot shorter, a lot smaller on the floor, but aren't backing down from a guy like Hendricks is on the floor. But you talk about Kyle Waters and Tanner Cook, those teammates there in Calgary, here in Brooklyn. We talk about Kyle Waters being the big body, but then you see Tanner Cook on the floor. You got that bigger body, but he kind of has so far tonight has been playing outside, not getting into the dirty areas like Kyle Waters likes to do. So you got that bigger body presence outside, that threat to drive in and just run over your defenders if you're Cobourg. You got to be nervous about Kyle Waters on one side of the floor running you over, then Tanner Cook on the other side running you over, or having that booming cannon of a shot from the point like we saw on that one goal there at the end. For Brooklyn, there's a lot of threats there from the big body presences on both sides of the floor.
The Cobourg Kodiaks 0 for 1 on the power play. The Brooklyn Lacrosse Club 1 for 1 on the power play. We're tied at 4 through 20 minutes. Seems like we're in for another real good game here at the Iroquois Park Sports Center, which we've had quite a few here. We've been treated to some amazing lacrosse so far this summer, and of course, this building is going to play host to some amazing lacrosse over the next couple weeks with the Ontario Lacrosse Festival, and teams of all ages from all across the province coming here to play in this beautiful 6-arena facility. But at Major Series Lacrosse level, the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club have really stepped up at every opportunity they've had because this team has needed it this year from the guys who typically play for the Brooklyn Merchants in Senior B.
Yeah, you got guys like Zach Harrigan that really kind of carried the team in the first couple games. In that game, and it was a loss to the Cobourg Kodiaks the first game of the year, but Zach Harrigan was a name that, you know, got on the score sheet quite a bit in that game and really brought his name to the forefront. He's played in pretty much every game now for Brooklyn this season and kind of solidified his spot in the MSL. And you got a bunch of other younger guys that are stepping up as well, with the lack of, you know, a Luke Pilcher at times or a Jordy Jones-Smith that's not coming up and playing in some games for whatever reasons. You know, the younger guys are coming up and it's working out, but we have a playoff game to look forward to, which we'll tease later on in the game here for the Merchants coming up this week.
Exciting game going on here. We're tied at 4, and we'll be back with the second period after this on RogersTV. Players making their way back onto the floor here at the Iroquois Park Sports Center. A 4-4 game between the Cobourg Kodiaks and the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club in Whitby. Jack Moore and Andrew Osmond with you on Friday night, 8 p.m. at Vipond Arena. The first game of round number 1 in Senior B lacrosse action sees the Brooklyn Merchants take on the Six Nations Rivermen. That is game 1 of that playoff series. Of course, August 3rd will be the start of the playoffs here in Major Series Lacrosse. A number of players playing for Brooklyn in Major Series Lacrosse this season are members of that Brooklyn Merchants team. The team captain, Adam Peroni, has been up with the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club for most of the season so far this year, and they have a big playoff game coming up on Friday night at Vipond Arena. Brooklyn with the opening possession of period number 2. We're tied at 4. That shot from Tanner Cook rattles just wide off the post, looking for the hat trick. He wanted it back, but Brady Kiernan slows it down. Connor Kiernan, cross floor, Tanner Cook gets the screen, steps in to Waters, back to Cook, and the roughneck connection doesn't connect there as Jackson Brown just gets a right arm on it.
Another great save from Jackson Brown. We've seen that multiple times tonight. Point-blank opportunities for Brooklyn, solved by the goaltender Brown.
Behind the back. Pass. And it doesn't connect, so away goes Brooklyn. Zach Kerrigan works this one off. Connor Kiernan off to Quinn Highland. Highland cross floor, and that one just misses. Connor Kiernan steps away. Late in the shot clock, and Brooklyn won't get a shot away, so it'll be Cobourg ball just inside their own end. So nothing doing there offensively for Brooklyn. Hunter Agus works it back up the floor. He took the only penalty for Cobourg in that first period that resulted in a Tanner Cook power play goal. Him and Brady Kiernan tied up in front of the Cobourg bench. Carson Moyer works it off. Tanner Buck up top. That shot kicked away by Riley Hutchcraft. Now cross floor, that gets picked off. Trent Boyd with speed up the floor. One-on-one against Conley, and he'll slow it down. Now drops it off for Saunders with speed. Brown knocks it into the far corner. And a foul against Cobourg as it was a cross-check to the head. It'll give Brooklyn the ball at the offensive end of the floor, so Curtis Conley costing his team a possession there.
When Brooklyn wanted a call against Conley for leaving the bench too early there to negate that breakaway chance, and I think they maybe had a bit of a case.
Trent Boyd thought he was gone. Not too many guys catch him when he gets going, as Connor Kiernan can't fire off that one-time shot. Now here's Brady Kiernan stepping in. Knocked out of his cradle, Tanner Cook. Connor Kiernan, Waters, off to Wesley. His shot scores! 6th of the year for Sean Wesley. And Brooklyn takes a 5-4 lead early in the second.
Lacrosse is a team game, and that play right there, that goal solidifies why. Almost every player on the floor grabs the ball. You see the loose ball handled there by Cook. Over the back feed, down low from one Kiernan to the other. And then right there, Sean Wesley grabs that pass, comes out in front, gets the angle on the goaltender, and gets the lead back for Brooklyn here.
Great ball movement by the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, and they take advantage. Cobourg trying to work it up the floor. That loose ball picked up by Brooklyn, and they're back the other way. Caleb Creaser slows things down in transition, waits for some help off the bench. Zach Kerrigan off to Wesley. Wesley over the top off the post.
He had a piece, he had a spot there.
He beat Jackson Brown, but he didn't beat Iron. Still a one-goal lead. Connor Kiernan. Now it's Kerrigan up top. That shot gets blocked in front of the net. It was Nick Ellerton getting in the way of that one. Cobourg back up the floor the other way. Still looking for that first two-goal advantage of the game for either team. Cobourg working it around. Moyer off the wall, taken away by Hutchcraft. And Brooklyn gets it right back as Trent Boyd will bring it up the floor. Boyd off to Cook. Now to the wall. Here's Kiernan as that shot gets swallowed up by Jackson Brown. That was knocked down in front of the Cobourg net by Brady Kiernan. But Cobourg still able to bring it up the floor with Ben Doherty. Now worked around as Marshall Powlis gets a screen. Into the middle. Off to the wall is Hanrahan. Into the corner. Anderson to the net. Stopped by Hutchcraft, and Anderson knocks Hutchcraft down to the floor, and Brooklyn not happy about that as they have a conversation, and it's going to be Brooklyn ball once we get restarted here.
We talk about Brooklyn playing a big game, and that's part of it there. Maybe not the biggest guys on the floor, but they're going to stand up for their goaltender, who might arguably be one of the bigger guys on the team. Don't like anybody, no matter who you are, even if you're David Anderson, who's got 2 goals running through the goaltender.
Aaron Woods. Cobourg back with it at the offensive end of the floor. Powlis over the top, stopped by Hutchcraft, and he traps it down in the crease. Brought back up the floor. Tristan Hanna off to the wall. Waters works this one off. Kiernan off the near side wall. Hanna couldn't control it. Curtis Romanchich up the floor, and Nick Ellerton is with him. Now Powlis off the bench. He scores. Bounce shot gets through. Beats the short side on Riley Hutchcraft, and we're tied at 5.
And there's a way to make up for that turnover in the first period from Marshall Powlis. Right here, you'll see him come down your left side of your screen to get that pass right here and then beat Riley Hutchcraft, who cheated himself off the post. Not sure what he saw off the shot, but almost gave more net on the shot to Powlis. Otherwise, he had him pretty covered.
5-5, back and forth we go as a chance in transition. Hanna to the net, stopped by Brown. And Tyler Hendricks on the rebound, the defensive end of the floor. He gets knocked down and the ball comes free. Brooklyn picks up. Liam Osborne, fresh shot clock at the offensive end. Keeps it away from Curtis Conley. Quinn Highland steps down and off to Wesley. Sean Wesley into the middle, off to Highland. Can't play it off the boards. Bouncing ball in the middle of the floor. Highland picks up 10 to shoot for Brooklyn. Now works it off to Tanner Cook. And that one gets taken away by Jonah Bean. And Cobourg will control it, so no shots on that offensive possession for Brooklyn, where it felt like they were chasing it around. Pass in front of the net. Hanrahan scores! Cobourg takes advantage the other way. 6-5 Kodiaks.
Cole Hanrahan here, and you'll see it off a turnover, gets the ball, does Cobourg, and then right in the slide. Look at the feet here, just outside the restricted area. It might all be about the hands when it comes to the shot, but on that one there, it was the tippy-toe effort from Cole Hanrahan that allowed him to get that close to the net and get it in the net. And again, we're back and forth here. 6-5 now for Cobourg.
Ellerton up the floor is Scott Reed right off the faceoff, slow to get back as he tries to knock Romancic off the ball. And it will be Cobourg ball on the restart. 6 minutes, 40 seconds gone in period number 2. Over the top shot, stopped by Hutchcraft and trapped down in the crease. And that will slow things down for Brooklyn here. Kyle Waters off to Connor Kiernan. Waters sets the screen in front. Cook off to the wall. Brady Kiernan works it off, stepping in front of the net. Oh, big save by Jackson Brown on Zach Kerrigan. Kerrigan can't buy one tonight.
He cut to the net, beat the goaltender, but not so fast. Jackson Brown stretches across once again and gets the hand on it. Keeps his team up 6-5.
Ben Doherty works it off, stepping down low. Knocked down to the floor was Carson Moyer. But he doesn't get a shot away, and Brooklyn takes it away defensively. Now Wesley stepping in. That shot gets deflected up into the air, and Liam Patton finds the loose ball. Now it's Hendricks in transition. High Point University player now with the Toronto Rock and Cobourg Kodiaks in Major Series Lacrosse. There's a penalty drawn by the Kodiaks, and they called Cobourg for too many, but their goalie was out of the net on the delayed penalty, but they might have had 7 on the floor. So we might have offsetting penalties here.
Yeah, goaltender comes off for the extra attacker, and 2 guys hop on. We'll see a look of it here, where here's the last save here from Jackson Brown. A couple nice moves from Kerrigan, who got around his defender. He still hasn't shot it. There he does. And Brown just with him the entire way. Zach Kerrigan all around that net, can't buy one. Little snake bit at times is Zach Kerrigan. And that's not really his issue there. That's more Jackson Brown as a solid goaltender here. As we see him now bent over, taking a breather. But yeah, offsetting penalties. So it looks like we're going to be playing 5-on-5.
You do have 5-on-5, and Cobourg's now going to take a penalty as that shot whistles wide. Brooklyn gets it back. Another penalty coming up here to Cobourg. It's going to be a 5-on-3 on the next stoppage. And if Cobourg takes another infraction, it's going to be a penalty shot for Brooklyn. Brooklyn trying to take advantage. 6-on-5 with the goalie pull. This Connor Kieran shot stopped by Jackson Brown. And we will get 2 penalties here against Cobourg. 1 for holding the stick, 1 for cross-checking. So Nick Ellerton and Hunter Agus off to the penalty box. And with 11:31 to go in the second period, it's 5-on-3 for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club.
Well, and what was set to be a power play for Cobourg turned into offsetting penalties, and now a 5-on-3 advantage for Brooklyn the other way. So how can things turn quickly here in the MSL? It just happened. Cobourg looked to be up a man, and now they're down 2 within the span of 30 seconds.
Kyle Waters starts it up offensively for Brooklyn. 5-on-3, they'll have 4 down low. Quick ball movement as Kiernan steps down below the net. Now it's Waters. Down low, now Kiernan, and another big save by Jackson Brown. You gotta be kidding me. That's the second big one in this period. High stick called against Brady Kiernan, a chance in front, stopped by Hutchcraft, and it's a 5-on-4 now. Oh my goodness, a big save from Jackson Brown, and then Brady Kiernan takes a high sticking penalty. All the action happening here in period number 2, Andrew.
And here it is. Connor Kiernan looking for 3. He thought it was in. He thought it was in. He's looking. He's saying, come on, ref. That's it. I got an angle similar to you. But no, he's got one. And Jackson Brown, once again, you see him here come all the way to the right and keeps that one off the line. That close for Connor Kiernan's 3rd of the game to tie it up again.
So the same way that Cobourg was about to go to the power play and then negated because of 7 men on the floor on the substitution with the goaltender. Brooklyn had a 5-on-3, had a chance to tie the game and stay on the 5-on-4, and it turns into a 4-on-3 and Cobourg ball as the Kodiaks step into the crease, and it's Brooklyn ball again with a minute 1 second left in the 4-on-3 advantage for Brooklyn. Tanner Cook already with the power play goal in this one. Off to Kiernan. Down low. Brown gets across and makes the save and then finds the rebound. Athleticism at its finest in net for the Kodiaks here.
And then a nifty pass, bounce pass up the floor to find his man in stride to move up the floor. Great hands from that goaltender there, Jackson Brown.
Shot clock gets down to 0 for Cobourg here. It would just be 10 seconds left in the 4-on-3 before Cobourg would have a short power play. Hendricks' pass gets taken away, and Kerrigan back up the floor for Brooklyn. Tanner Cook, 7 to go in the 4-on-3, drives to the net, cross-floor passing, Kiernan scores! Connor Kiernan gets it back. That's the hat trick, and we're tied at 6.
And just like that, with 2 seconds to go on the power play, Brooklyn gets it tied up, as you said, Jack, at 6. Yet again, both teams not going away, staying in this one and getting this one on the power play. And it's Kiernan that stops up, running a bit hot there towards the crease and keeps out of the zone. And a great no-look feed as well from Tanner Cook there. Looking the defender off, opening that passing lane. And Connor Kiernan, no mistake, 3rd goal of the game. But now we'll have a Cobourg power play here for about 30 seconds.
They will get possession off the face-off, but the fresh shot clock, they have to get it over, and they just do with 1 second to spare. Liam Patton couldn't find the loose ball. Adam Peroni trying to knock it free. Cobourg comes away with it, slows it down. 10 seconds to shoot. 7 seconds to go in the power play. Marshall Palace already with 1 in this one. He's in the middle up top. And at the end of the shot clock, just fires it into the chest of Riley Hutchcraft. So we're back to 5-on-5. We're tied at 6-6. We're just about midway through this game, Andrew.
Feels like it's been a full game, lots of action.
Kyle Waters scores! Long shot from the big man, and it gets through. 7-6 Brooklyn.
We just keep leapfrogging each other here, Brooklyn and Cobourg. Once one takes the lead, the other ties it up and gains the lead themselves, and that's what we see once again. Kyle Waters, fresh off the bench, grabs that ball and in stride, uses that momentum, gets a lot of power behind that shot, and gets it right through Jackson Brown for Brooklyn's 7th goal, and yet another lead in the game.
Shot for shot, blow for blow we go in this one. Brooklyn controlling off the faceoff, firing it off the wall was Michael White. And it gets taken away by Curtis Conley. Tanner Buck. Brady Kiernan gets an assist on that Kyle Waters goal as that's over and back against Cobourg. And Tristan Hanna will run it up the floor, and Brooklyn will start with the ball just south of the Cobourg net here. The 7-6 lead. Again, we have yet to see a 2-goal advantage in this one. Tanner Cook looking for the hat trick, flips it back to Brady. Kiernan steps in, stopped by Brown. Rebound in front of the net, and Kerrigan couldn't knock it home. He's hit the post. He had that big save from Brown with the right arm. Zach Kerrigan all around it tonight, but just can't get his 9th of the year. Tyler Hendricks, pass in front of the net. Austin Murphy, 15 to shoot midway through the shot clock. Palace steps in, scores! 2nd of the game for Marshall Palace, and we're tied at 7 with 7.5 to go in period 2.
And just like that, we are tied, Jack, once again at 7s. Lucky 7 with 7:30 to go here in the 2nd period of play. But yeah, earlier it was Tyler Hendricks that had the ball in his stick and had it whacked around and actually over his head. He kept control of the ball, which was impressive. And a couple passes later, now we see it on the stick of Marshall Powless, and he's able to get his second goal of the game. If it's not for that strength in the arm of Tyler Hendricks to hang on to that ball, it would go the other way. But nonetheless, they have possession. Cobourg does, and tied it up once again, and they have the ball now here to try to get the lead back, like we've seen before.
Penalty coming up here to Marshall Powless. Brooklyn thought it was a foul on the floor, and they tried to get the restart, but Powless is actually going to the penalty box, so it's going to be a power play for Brooklyn. They're 2 for 3 so far in this one. Mentioned Tyler Hendricks. This is a guy who doesn't turn 22 until November 10th. And he's looked this good, and now Marshall Powless gets teed up from the penalty box. Well, it looks like we'll have a 4-minute 5-on-4 for Brooklyn here, and that is what's going to happen. So 4th and 5th power plays of the game for Brooklyn. They're 2 for 3 so far. Tied at 7. Wesley. Tanner Cook. Back to Wesley. Now Kiernan tried a one-touch shot but couldn't get it home. Wesley to Kiernan. Up top, Waters. Over the top. Stopped by Brown, and the rebound picked up by Cobourg. Flipped up to Nick Ellerton. Former Boston University player couldn't run the floor, so Brooklyn gets it right back. Kyle Waters allows his teammates to get on the floor. Liam Osborne, Trent Cook, Brady and Connor Kiernan. Cook into the corner, now in front for Connor Kiernan. That one gets stopped by Brown. Now Connor Kiernan with a shot after the whistle to Liam Patton. And now another Cobourg player is going to the box here. So the officials not happy with the jawing, and it looks like it's going to be Ben Doherty, who's just sitting on the Cobourg bench.
It might be that, or is it a bench minor coming from the coaching staff that's still going at the official? We'll check the score sheet, see what the official call is, but it could be a bench minor. Yeah, we are getting a bench minor, is what the call will be. So this is going to be a long, and I mean long, advantage here for Brooklyn, as long as they play a clean game. And the goaltenders are having a little chat, smiles on their faces by the benches. They're just, they know they're having good games themselves.
The
so
4 of them having a nice 4-way conversation on the bench, cracking some jokes, having some fun.
Yeah.
Hey, why not? It's a beautiful Wednesday night here in Whippy.
Yeah,
and the goaltending's been pretty good.
Yeah, Jackson Brown saying, guys, come on. I know I'm that good, but I'm getting a little tired out here. Don't take these penalties. I can't handle all the shots. I did make 57 saves in our win against Brampton. I don't want to make 57 again, guys.
So a 2-minute 5-on-3 for Brooklyn. And then another minute 15 on the power play after that's over. So like you said, long advantage. Kyle Waters. Tanner Cook. Out to Kiernan. Ball flipped up into the air, and Waters finds it. Slows it down with 10 to shoot. Waters finds the lane. Brown makes the save. Ellerton finds the rebound. Nick Ellerton back up the floor, and Cobourg is going to be content with killing some time here, but a penalty coming up here to Jacob Saunders as he threw Curtis Conley into the Brooklyn net. So Brooklyn trying to knock that ball free, and it is Jacob Saunders going to the penalty box, exchanging some words for Curtis Conley, and we'll get the crease wiped down at the Brooklyn end where Conley went spilling into the net, and you just can't do that if you're Jacob Saunders.
Yeah, you got that. Like I said, as long as they play a clean game, they'll have that long advantage. They'll still have an advantage, just not going to be 2 men up. Now it'll be a 4-on-3. Once they get the ball and get possession and go down the floor, they'll be able to utilize that man advantage. And I'm trying to see for now if the goaltender will head back in, Jackson Brown, or he's just taking his time now by the bench with some water, which is using that as we wait to wipe up the floor.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Had a long night already and making a lot of saves.
Well, and you're giving your penalty killers the rest right now, right? That's the other big thing. You go to the bench, grab some water, let them wipe the floor. You got some offensive guys on the floor right now. Those defenders are on the bench drinking the water. They will have another minute or so to kill off. We want them to be fresh.
Tanner Bach can't sidestep Caleb Creaser, and Brooklyn able to knock it free. Cobourg bench wanted a penalty. Scott Reed able to slip away. Creaser steps in, stopped by Brown, and he traps it down in the crease. Caleb Creaser thought he had his first home goal as a member of the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club.
Not against Jackson Brown tonight. It's going to be hard to do that.
And Creaser acquired in a trade with Peterborough just before he went away with Team Canada to the World Championships. Beat the Haudenosaunee Nation in the semifinals, and then a loss to Team USA in the gold medal game. And Creaser didn't see any action at the World Championships, but said before he went he knew what his role was. He was ready to go if necessary as the third goalie. That's his position in field lacrosse, but a transition player in box as that shot rattles off the crossbar and goes out of play. It'll stay Brooklyn ball.
We'll have 4-on-4 lacrosse
For just 3 more seconds, and then we'll have 45 at 4-on-4. Kiernan scores! Connor Kiernan's 4th of the game. Brooklyn takes an 8-7 lead.
And they get the lead right back. They had a 7-6 lead. They let it tie up, and then they got the lead back. So not leapfrogging as much as we've seen in this game. Brooklyn now getting the lead back in back-to-back times. And just right off the whistle there is Connor Kiernan making a couple fakes the pass, and fools the goaltender and gets the 8th goal of the game here for Brooklyn.
Kyle Waters with a beautiful screen in front of the net to get it going in what is going to be the lacrosse capital of the country for the next few weeks here in Whitby. Lots of teams and players descending here onto Whitby to play in this tournament. The penalty coming up here to Brooklyn as Cobourg fires a shot. Hutchcraft makes the save. No over and back because of the deflection. So Brown, who was on his way to the bench, able to play it and work it back up the floor. We're 4-on-4 for now. Cobourg moving it around. Hendricks gets it back up top. Tanner Bach misses the net on the far side, and this one will not make it for over and back, but it was turned over, so we get the whistle down, and Brooklyn going to the penalty box here. So we'll have 4-on-4 for 27 seconds as the Brooklyn penalty had just expired as that whistle went. And after that, it will be 1:33 on the power play for the Kodiaks.
So Mike Byrne will head to the box for 2 minutes or less, seeing what happens. But yeah, Cobourg with the ball here. It would be in their best interest to use this 27 seconds or so, get a shot, get the rebound, and stay in the offensive zone to start their power play. Or a goal. They would not trade that for a goal.
Hendricks works it off, and Austin Murphy back to Hendricks. That bounces free. Tanner Bach back to Murphy. Hendricks up top. His shot stopped by Hutchcraft, and he traps it down. So this will be 6 seconds in the 4-on-4 before we're 5-on-4 for Cobourg. Brooklyn can get this down to about 1:10 seconds on the penalty clock against Mike Burns. 3:05 to go in the second period as Brooklyn has 8 in the game. Connor Kiernan has 4 of those. Now Quinn Highland's shot gets stopped by Jackson Brown. 1:13 to go in the power play for Cobourg, and they're back up the floor. Marshall Powers. Hendricks and Anderson. Anderson's got 2 in this one. Powers has 2. Hendricks has been all over the floor, facilitating. Bach scores! That's the second of the game for Tanner Buck, his 21st of the year. And on the power play, Cobourg ties it at 8.
And we're tied once again. That one coming on the power play. Buck's second goal. This one a power play. And watch the feet here. He'll be cutting across the crease, keeps his feet just outside, well outside actually. And gets it past Hutchcraft, who was staying with the ball, read that play rather well actually. And it was Tanner Buck that went far side. His momentum was going the other way, and he put it back on the far side of the net past Hutchcraft to tie it up at 8.
Brooklyn gets possession, looking for a quick chance as Connor Kiernan streaking in. Osborne, cross floor for Saunders. Kerrigan up top. Kiernan gets the screen from Osborne. And another one from Waters. Osborne in front, stopped by Brown. As Osborne went sliding through the crease, and away goes Ellerton in transition. 2-on-1 with Powless. Ellerton kicked out by Riley Hutchcraft. Bouncing ball in front of the Brooklyn crease. That gets taken away by Brooklyn. Mike Byrne back up the floor. Brady Kiernan. 105 seconds to go in the second. We're tied at 4 after 20. We're tied at 8 right now. John Wesley. Back up top to Connor Kiernan. Tanner Cook. His shot deflected away by Brown. And the rebound picked up by Connor Kiernan. A fresh shot clock. Tanner Cook picks up. Cross floor for Waters. Waters to Cook. Gets the screen. Drops it back to Cook. And he couldn't control that one in front of the net. Wesley picks up, tried to go behind the back, but Cook was in the crease, so it doesn't count.
It actually went in the net too, but yeah, as you said, did not count. And I think Jackson Brown knew it wasn't going to count, so he didn't even try to make the save, but Wesley completing the play, waiting for the whistle.
Tanner Buck. Up top, Murphy. Works it off. Buck again. His shot into the chest of Hutchcraft. Rebound picked up by Cobourg. Fresh shot clock with it. Palace behind the back, and that shot off the side of the post. Brooklyn picks up. There's a 5-second differential between game clock and shot clock. So this isn't going to be the final possession. Connor Kiernan streaks in, forced back into the corner. Pass in front of the net for Osborne off the far boards. Tanner Cook. Highland, 10 to shoot. Cross floor, Kiernan in front of the net. That gets deflected off to the boards. Osborne, 5 to shoot. Shielding it away from Cobourg. Pass to shoot. Won't get one off. Shot clock violation against Brooklyn. With 3.4 seconds to go, Hendrick picks up his shot, stopped by Hutchcraft. And that will end period number 2 with a bouncing ball in front of the Brooklyn net. So we went back and forth in period number 1. We had a 4-4 tie through 20 minutes of play. We go into the middle frame, 4 goals apiece. We're tied at 8. Nobody's had a greater than 1 goal advantage in this one. Tight contest through 40 minutes of play here, Andrew.
We'll have to see if one team can take control of this one in the third period. Have not seen it at any point in the first 40 minutes. If one team wants to be victorious, they got to do that in the third and final period to not only keep their playoff hopes alive, but to clinch or keep that third place in the standings.
Riley Hutchcraft and Jackson Brown showing some love to each other at the end of 40 minutes of play. It's 8-8. The goaltenders playing amazing in this one. We'll be back with your second intermission after the break. You're watching Major Series Lacrosse, and it's on Rogers TV. The Ontario Lacrosse Festival about to get underway here in Whitby. The Iroquois Park Sports Centre, the 6th rink facility in Whitby, plays host to the Ontario Lacrosse Festival, as well as the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club in Major Series Lacrosse. And they have an 8-8 tie through 40 minutes of play against the Cobourg Kodiaks. Welcome back into the broadcast booth. Jack Moore alongside Andrew Osmond. And Andrew, an exciting first period. felt like we couldn't really top it in period number 2, and we get almost the exact same result, and now we go into the final 20 minutes of play tied up. Teams are pretty much where they were at the start of the game, just a little more tired.
Well, you talk about being exactly where we are. We are exactly where we were. 4 goals apiece in the first period, 4 goals apiece in the second period. Neither team able to get out to a multi-goal lead in either period or at any point in the game, trading blows back and forth, back-to-back goals to tie it up, get a lead, then trading punches back and forth to not just leapfrog each other, tie it up and get the lead, tie it up, get the lead. It's been a very even game. As we said, going to break there, neither team so far able to get control at any point and really get the better of the other team. It's kind of been even the entire way. There hasn't been a minute or two where one team's just been the better of the two. There hasn't been that. There hasn't even been where one team's been worse, so to say. Like, they haven't been playing that poorly either. The goaltenders are solid, Hutchcraft and Brown on either side, doing a stellar job keeping their teams in it and keeping this game as close as it is.
There's been some mistakes that have been led to goals, but if I was a guessing man, I would say I think we're going to go into overtime tied at 12, by the way that the first 2 periods have gone here in Whitby. We'll take a look at the highlights from period number 2, and once again, it was just action constantly from both these teams.
Yeah, just in the first few minutes here, it's Sean Wesley, great passing play going around. They're getting it from Kyle Waters and Connor Kiernan on the assists on that goal, and then coming back is Marshall Powless, making up for that first period turnover mistake that led to a Tanner Cook goal. And then getting it right back off a turnover is Cobourg. Cole Hanrahan right here beating Riley Hutchcraft for Cobourg to get the lead. Then it's Connor Kiernan right there. There's the great save from Jackson Brown. One of his many saves. We'll probably see a couple others. Here it is from Connor Kiernan. Oh, there's another save on Connor Kiernan. And making a couple, we mentioned the goaltenders doing a great job, and here that no-look feed from Tanner Cook. Great one there to Connor Kiernan, and then coming back the other way off the bench with momentum, bouncing ball, picks that one up. Kyle Waters throws that one past Brown. Back-to-back goals for Brooklyn. And then the other end of the floor from well out here, making a couple of moves. They go on far side. The defender can't catch up. It's Marshall Powless once again getting his second goal of the game. And then right here, right off the draw, or not off the stop play, it's Connor Kiernan for his 4th goal of the game. And then just before the period ended to tie it up once again, for the second time tying it up, is Tanner Buck. And that's where we stand, 8-8 after 2 periods of play.
Yeah, it's been a tightly contested matchup between these two teams. We mentioned it before. 2-1 season series in favor of Brooklyn. Cobourg got the first one. Brooklyn's gotten the last 2. In terms of goals for, almost dead even. In terms of goals against, almost dead even. But you look at the standings and you look at the records, and Cobourg's sitting there at 3-9, and Brooklyn's sitting there at 6-6, and there's different feels and different vibes to these two teams.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, so to say, but there's still 2 games for Brooklyn to play against Peterborough this year, one of the teams that they are chasing, but their last 2 games of the year come against the Peterborough Lakers, the defending champions, and, not just playing those last 2 games of the season for Brooklyn, but that is pretty likely. We heard someone pregame here on the Brooklyn side thinking it's a 99.9% chance that they will be facing Peterborough in round 1. So you could be looking at 9 straight games against the Lakers for Brooklyn here if it goes 7 games in round 1 of the playoffs that start August 3rd for the MSL season. So you're looking at Brooklyn and you're saying, well, we're about 500 right now. We take care of business here, but we really got to solve those Lakers if we want to keep that plus 500 record for the rest of the season and then going into the playoffs. You want to go on that positive note. If you're Brooklyn, Peterborough's got all the positivity as well. They're that top team in the league for a reason. They don't really need much more positive energy. Maybe dropping those 2 games to Brooklyn at the end of the year might be a bit of a hindrance on their part coming into the playoffs. But for Brooklyn, you really got to win your way in and build that positive energy.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, the way to do that is to win the 3rd period. Same with the Cobourg Kodiaks, trying to clinch a playoff spot here in Major Series Lacrosse. We'll find out what happens in period number 3 after the break on RogersTV. Back inside the Iroquois Park Sports Center in Whitby, 8-8. Brooklyn and Cobourg back and forth. No team has had greater than a 1-goal advantage in this contest as we get you set for period number 3. Jack Moore, Andrew Osmond with you. Jackson Brown with 27 saves in net for the Kodiaks so far in this one. Riley Hutchcraft having himself a good game as well. 22 saves through the first 40 minutes of play, allowing 8 goals. But Jackson Brown seems to be stealing the show, and the two exchanging some fist bumps. And congratulations towards each other on how well they've played so far. But we got a game that both these teams want to win in the standings. As Romancic, offensive end of the floor, pass in front of the net, stopped by Hutchcraft. Responds with a nice save of his own on Aaron Woods. Adam Perrone turns it over. Away goes Cobourg. Woods steps into the middle. Stopped by Hutchcraft. Woods picks it up again. Stopped by Hutchcraft. Loose ball on the floor, and a foul against Cobourg will allow Brooklyn to take possession and try and slow some things down here. As seems like this quick pace is going against him in the early going of period 3. Just over a minute into this final frame. Cook works it off. Kyle Waters fires a shot, and Kieran gets shoved down to the floor. So then Doherty will step off to the Cobourg penalty box. Brooklyn's going back to the power play, trying to strike first in period number 3 as we see it right here.
Well, a similar play to Jacob Saunders in that second period. Just a little preemptive shove as the pass is incoming to Kiernan. So get a power play here for Brooklyn. They've got 3 on the night so far. That's above their average of 2.6 coming in.
Kiernan got some good slide on that one.
Yeah, some good distance. We got to
could have slid into second base from 20 feet away.
Got to do some cleaning of the floor because of that. We've seen that a lot actually from Connor Kieran. He's not afraid to go hard to the net. He'll get shoved down to the floor like that, or even just throw his body to try to get a shot off or reach around a goaltender. He's very often on the ground, on the floor, on his stomach in the crease at the end of a play.
Hey, you know what? When it puts 4 goals on the board, it doesn't matter how they go in. They don't ask how, they ask how many. Well, he's got 4 in this one. He's trying to get it to 5 on this power play here for Brooklyn. Tanner Cook, 2 goals, 3 assists so far in this one. Down low, quick shot, Kiernan scores! That is 5, and that's a 9-8 lead.
You see that big smile ear to ear as he runs off the floor, getting the 5th goal of the game, the 9th goal for his team to get the lead back once again on the power play. And some passing up atop, then down low. Sharp angle shot. Not a lot of area to beat the goaltender Jackson Brown, but he did so there. The agile goaltender can't quite squeeze it, and it gets past him. 9-8 Brooklyn here.
He had 12 on the year coming into this one.
Well,
now he's got 17. It's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good night.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know how that would feel. That shot stopped by Hutchcraft, and the rebound loose in front of the Brooklyn net. Caleb Creaser flips it up the floor to Saunders. Osborne. Some room to work. And watched by Jonah Bean. Face-off specialist for Cobourg. Wesley up top. Tanner Cook's shot. That gets stopped and pounced on by Jackson Brown. So 2-goal first period from Tanner Cook. He's got some assists in this one as well, as that ball pops free, and Sean Wesley trying to find it right in front of his home bench. Bouncing ball, and it gets picked up by Mike Byrne for Brooklyn. Byrne gives it back to Kyle Waters. Cross floor, here's Kiernan. Brady Kiernan over the top. That gets stopped by the chest of Brown. Brady Kiernan trying to knock it free in the scrum in front of the Cobourg net. Connor Kiernan. There was a shot at Liam Patton, and the ball comes free. Brown works it off to Patton. 2 Brooklyn players didn't know where it was. Kerrigan and Kiernan slow to get back. That allows Cobourg have numbers in transition, but they can't convert. Aaron Woods plays it back to Tanner Buck. That shot kicked out by Hutchcraft. Rebound pops up into the air. Cobourg can't corral it. Now bouncing off the boards, and Woods comes away. Aaron Woods with the goal in this one. It was his 13th of the year, and to go with the 15 assists coming into the game. Palace gives the screen, gets the pass. Palace gets bumped off the ball. Josh Taguri couldn't spring it free enough. That shot scores! Hat trick for David Anderson, and we're tied at 9.
Well, it took a while. David Anderson with a couple goals in that first period and hadn't got another one since, and he just did here to get his 3rd goal of the game. And it was off a fresh shot clock as well for Cobourg that was able to get the ball and get the rebound and take advantage here, work the ball high up the floor, almost mid-floor, and then walking that back in was David Anderson to tie this game back up once again.
Are you surprised?
Nope, not at all.
9-9. Just about 4 minutes gone in period number 3, a goal apiece. I still think it's going to be 12-12 going into overtime. 4 goals in the first, 4 goals in the second, 4 goals in the third. All aside, Wesley steps in, couldn't bounce that one home, trying to beat Brown. Now transition chance. Hendricks steps in on Peroni, spins away into the chest of Hutchcraft, who knocks the rebound into the corner for Adam Peroni. Scott Reed off to Connor Kiernan. Has the hot hand. Can he get 6? He can't. Brown with another right-handed save, and that kick starts a transition for Curtis Conley, who slows it down when he gets to the offensive end of the floor. Marshall Palace into the corner and straight out of play, so it's Brooklyn ball going the other way. Just out of the reach of Nick Ellerton's stick. Brady Kiernan off to Osborne. Liam Osborne drives in on Ellerton. His shot stopped by Brown. Rebound pops out and picked up by Cobourg. Columbus slowing it down. Stretch pass up the floor finds Jonah Beam. Now fresh off the bench, here's Carson Moyer. Driving in on Peroni. His shot stopped by Hutchcraft. Rebound picked up by Beam. That gets worked back up top. Tanner Buck works it off to the boards. Aaron Woods. 20 seconds to shoot here for Cobourg. Woods gets it back into the corner. That goes off a stick and out of play off the rafters. Kyle Waters will get things going. Big body for Brooklyn going against the big body for Cobourg, and Hendricks. Now pass in front of the net, out of the reach of Kiernan. And away goes Cobourg the other way in transition. Romanchik. Pass in front of the net. That one gets stopped by Hutchcraft. Austin Murphy gets the chance there. Nick Ellerton works it into the corner. Bounces it back for Marshall Palace. Buck gives the screen. Palace into the corner. Pass cross floor. Buck scores! That's the hat trick for Tanner Buck. He was slow to get going, but he gives Cobourg a 10-9 lead.
And that's the first lead of the game for Cobourg since the 13:41 mark left in the second period. Tanner Buck getting that one through. 10-9 now. Cobourg kind of been chasing, I guess you could say, since almost just on the other side of the midway mark of the second period, just trying to stay within a goal and tie it up. This is the first time, like I said, since the 13:41 mark left in the second that they've had the lead. But again, no team has gone up by more than one at any point. Can Cobourg be the first to do that? We'll see here, but it's Brooklyn ball off the draw.
Caleb Creaser trying to hold possession here, getting double teamed. Flips it to himself. Caleb Creaser works it cross floor. Kiernan plays it back to Kerrigan as Creaser goes off for a change. 15 to shoot for Brooklyn. Cross floor pass. Tanner Cook up top. Over the top. That gets stopped by Brown. Cook looking for his third of the game, trying to join in on the fun. Now Cobourg back the other way. Pass up top. That shot gets stopped by Hutchcraft, and it squeaks just wide of the Brooklyn goal. Stays away from any trouble. Kyle Waters gets it back at the offensive end. 10-9, Cobourg leads. Waters knocked off the ball. Away goes Newbro. Has Hendricks in transition. 2-on-2, and they'll slow it down. Newbro gets the screen. Woods off the bench as well as Buck. Buck being watched by Saunders. Hendricks steps in for the pick. So does Palace. Buck works this one off to Austin Murphy. Murphy over the top, stopped by Hutchcraft. They score! Back referee calls it off, foot in the crease. It's going to be Brooklyn ball. Injured Cobourg player on the floor behind the play is Austin Murphy. The official on the line called it a goal. The back referee waved it off.
And we'll see it here, Aaron Woods. That was close. I think he got the shot off before his foot hit the ground in the crease. He was outside. He's outside right here. Shot off. Yeah, that goal should have counted. And should have been a 2-goal lead for Cobourg. But we're at 10-9 still. So Brooklyn gets a break there on that missed call from the official.
Would have been the first time that we had a 2-goal lead for either side, but Brooklyn gets the offensive rebound here and sets up offensively. Kiernan off to Connor Kiernan. Now pass in front. That's Cook, picks it up, and a penalty coming here to Brooklyn. Keenan Cook hasn't been in the action much offensively with the mistake at the offensive end of the floor, tossing down Hunter Agus. So Cobourg is going to the man advantage with 11:33 to go.
And Keenan Cook was actually the last guy on the floor on that transition. He hopped over the boards, the middle of the boards, and just getting a bit carried away there. Not only with the play focused around Tanner Cook that was running away from there, but also got the stick up high. Bit over aggressive, so Cobourg chance to make up for what should have been their 2-goal lead here for 2 minutes now on the power play. They got one power play goal so far, trying to make it 2 on the night.
Anderson fires a shot wide that came right at us and deflected off a seat back onto the floor.
Flashbacks to last year.
No ball for me to sign this time around. And then try and give it away and have the kid throw it back to me. I have no interest.
Throw it back on the floor.
I have no interest in that ball.
Who's this guy?
Made me feel better the next week when a kid from Peterborough asked for my autograph.
Oh, wow.
First and only.
Ever?
Yeah. Kyle Waters. Tanner Cook just took a penalty behind the play. 5-on-3 for a minute 31 here for Cobourg. Tanner Cook, who's been all over the floor offensively for Brooklyn, takes the penalty behind the play. You'll be able to see it at the bottom of your screen on the left-hand side. Watch the right hand.
Just right to the jaw. And still slow to get up is the Cobourg player. Finally on their feet now. It's Liam Patton. Bit sluggish, has that cage knocked off, whether he did that himself or it got knocked loose from that right hook from Tanner Cook. How much weight did you say was behind that punch? 235 pounds?
About 226, I believe is his listed weight. Depending on what he eats for lunch.
Yeah, and that's going to be a 5-minute, I believe, as well. So some juicy time here for Cobourg to get the 2-goal lead. Yep, so we got a 5-minute major now for that right hook from Tanner Cook.
And that's 2 opportunities. Like, you got to think where those 2 penalties came from.
Yep.
With chances at the offensive end of the floor.
Yeah,
down by a goal in a relatively important regular season game. Tanner Buck's shot gets knocked away by Hutchcraft.
And a game that's been close the entire time, right? Where each team is in it. You don't want to give the other team any opportunity.
Aaron Woods got called on that no goal for the foot in the crease. Cobourg working it around. That shot by Anderson gets deflected away. Rebound picked up by the Kodiaks. Anderson into the corner. Powers picks it up off the wall. 5 to shoot. That one deflects off the floor into the protected meshing and out of play. So it's Brooklyn ball. They get the shot clock to 0. 19 seconds left in the 5-on-3.
It's still a big chunk of time in that major.
Well, and that's the other thing. Cobourg can score at will.
Yep. No real rush right now for Cobourg.
Up a goal. And up 2 men right now, but will be up a man for quite a while, about 3.5 minutes when that 2-minute minor finishes as the shot clock expires. So Brooklyn able to get that penalty clock down as low as possible. And as Cobourg gets to the offensive end of the floor, there's 10 seconds left in the 5-on-3.
And then Keenan Cook will be hopping over those penalty boards.
Anderson gets the screen. His shot gets deflected wide. And Cook, fresh out of the box, is chasing it down, picks it up, and slips in the corner and loses possession. Away goes Cobourg, and that shot gets picked up. Brooklyn's bench not happy about something.
I think they wanted it actually an over-the-back call, which means they could have set up, but...
Adam Perrone, cross floor. Brooklyn trying to kill off some more time here, trying to get it down to 2:40 with 0 on the shot clock. Connor Kiernan with 5 in this game. After Brady whistles one just wide past that far post, and it hit Brown,
yep.
So it's Brooklyn ball.
It did hit
a fresh
Brown.
Shot clock.
That's why I was saying it was that close, because if Brown's right hand was not there, that was going posting in to tie this one back up.
We're standing right beside each other. You got better eyes than I do. I thought I had a pretty good angle.
I have that little bit. I am that like 2 feet closer, so don't discount yourself.
Brady Kiernan. 10 seconds to shoot for Brooklyn. Bounces back to center floor. Connor keeps it in the offensive end. Brooklyn can get a shot with 2 seconds left. Osborne will just shovel it into the corner. So Cobourg has to start from their own end. Liam Patton seems no worse for wear after taking that right hook from Tanner Cook, who served 2 minutes and 50 seconds of his 5-minute major here in period number 3. Murphy, cross floor, Buck over the top. That one missed the net, and that doesn't get picked up by Caleb Creaser. 3 seconds to shoot for Cobourg. Anderson to the net, stopped by Hutchcraft. Shot clock reset for whoever picks up the ball, and Mike Byrne finds it for Brooklyn. That is a big defensive rebound there for Brooklyn.
Yeah, Caleb Creaser got caught looking up the floor. He should have just got the ball in his stick and moved it across the floor. He wanted that partial break. That was his focus. But Brooklyn didn't get caught on that one. They got the ball now for another 10 seconds or so.
Brady Kiernan up top to Quinn Highland. Wesley fires a shot. Brown makes the save. Cobourg brings it back up the floor. 1:05 to go in the power play on the 5-minute major to Tanner Cook. 10-9 here for the Cobourg Kodiaks. Trying to get the first 2-goal lead of the game for either team. Jacob Saunders trying to kick that one free. Woods off to Hendricks. 3 to shoot. That one gets blocked by Perrone. And that is a shot clock violation against Cobourg off the back of Adam Perrone there.
That's not going to feel good.
He's got a big frame, and he got it in the way of that Cobourg chance. There'll be about 10 seconds left in the power play if the shot clock hits 0. Connor Kiernan off to Brady. His shot stopped by Brown. And he traps it down in the crease. Didn't get the shot clock all the way down, but they got a good offensive chance and a big save, like we've said, whole game for Jackson Brown.
And only 10 seconds left in that penalty now.
That shot gets stopped by Hutchcraft. Rebound, Tanner Buck looking for it in the corner. He gets bumped off the ball by Michael White. We're back to 5-on-5. Tanner Cook steps out of the box a little bit late. That ball bounces in the crease, and Hutchcraft able to corral it. Caleb Creaser settles it at center floor. Cobourg's bench not happy about Cook being on the floor here for Cobourg. Penalty coming up here against the Kodiaks. Highland's shot gets stopped by Brown. Rebound picked up by Brady Kiernan, and a shot clock reset. So 6-on-5 for 30 seconds, and then a Brooklyn power play.
And the guy with 5 goals, Connor Kiernan, gets on the floor.
Tanner Cook gives the screen. Brady Kiernan waits. Finds Connor Kiernan, quick pass, Highland can't get the shot away. 5:12 to go in period number 3. Brooklyn going back to the power play.
And what a kill that was. 5+ minutes shorthanded. They get out of it, not allowing a goal, keeping this a 1-goal game like it has been the entire game. And then they get a penalty or a power play. They draw a penalty right here on the number 4 there. Just watch him there, grabbing the stick out of the hands of Kyle Waters like it was meant to be, as if nothing's wrong with that. And now Brooklyn with a 2-minute or less power play.
Tanner Cook already with a power play goal in this one. Gets it back, quick shot stopped by Brown, and he traps it down in the crease.
We've seen that all night there from Jackson Brown. And watch out here, Brooklyn causing their turnover.
Ball comes free, Brady Kiernan finds it. Fresh shot clock for Brooklyn. Right on the ball immediately. Tanner Cook off to Wesley, who's up top for Brooklyn. Down low for Waters behind the net. Connor Kiernan with 5 in this one. Wesley gets the screen, fires it just wide. Bouncing ball, Conley looking for it. 5 to shoot for Brooklyn. Waters picks up. Wesley with 3 to shoot. Steps around the defender, fires it wide, and that's a shot clock violation against Brooklyn.
Well, 1:05 to go here. Looks like there should be another opportunity for Brooklyn on the power play here. And they're going to leave one man down the floor to only allow Cobourg to have 3 guys offensively. And they're just going to look to waste the clock.
They'll still have just over 30 seconds if the clock hits 0. Hendricks steps in. His shot whistles wide, and that goes out of play. Almost hit a fan on the far side of the stands, but looks no worse for wear. Brooklyn gets the ball back.
And the little kid gets the ball.
As it should be.
Love to see it.
Tanner Cook. Waters down low. Cook up top. Now that quick pass goes off. Brady Kiernan can't get the shot away. Cook picks it up off the boards. Connor Kiernan. Cook fires off the post. Now a transition chance. Here's Curtis Conley with speed down the floor. Conley scores! Tanner Cook wants an interference call against Hunter Agus, but Curtis Conley gives the first 2-goal lead of the game for either side to the Kodiaks on his 8th of the year and first of the game. Watch this play by Hunter Agus to not allow Tanner Cook to get to Conley.
Well, you called it right there as Conley goes to the net. Not only does Tanner Cook have someone in his way the entire way up the floor to try to get around him and go to the net, he doesn't have a stick at the end of it to really defend with, and just shoves his man to the floor. And Curtis Conley doesn't really care. Nonetheless, it's a 2-goal lead for Cobourg, first time in this game.
Here's Byrne with speed. That shot goes off the back of the net. Byrne picks up the rebound. We're back to 5-on-5. 3:05 to go in this one. 11-9 Cobourg. First 2-goal advantage for either team. Brady Kiernan off to Tanner Cook. Connor Kiernan looking for his 6th. Flips it back to Waters. He scores! Waters responds right back with his 2nd of the game and pulls Brooklyn back within 1.
Well, both teams clearly are in this game and in it to win it. Kyle Waters gets the team Brooklyn that is, back within 1 goal. Right here, you'll see him quietly stay put, let the defender drift off of him. Just at the top there, you see him get the ball and then fires that right past Jackson Brown, who was a bit to the left and out of position on the play. Should have been way more to the right. Even that's where the ball was. He was out of position from even where the ball was passed from. We got a 1-goal game once again, but this time it's Cobourg with the lead.
Liam Patton throws Mike Byrne down to the side. Byrne was the one who started the rush on the Waters goal. It brought Brooklyn back within 1. Cobourg will bring it to the offensive end of the floor. Work it around. Connor Kiernan gets an assist on that one. Pretty good offensive night here for Connor Kiernan with 5 goals. Now a pass in front. Powell is stopped by Hutchcraft, and he traps it down.
And important possessions now for Brooklyn as we near the 2-minute mark left in the 3rd period. You got to capitalize, and you can't let Cobourg get another one at this point.
Brady Kiernan gets the screen, steps in, scores! We're tied at 11. Brady Kiernan. 1:54 to go in the 3rd.
And you know what, Jack? One away apiece from 12 aside. Oh man, this game's got everything. Look at this one right here. Brady Kiernan uses that screen, goes around his man and through the legs of Jackson Brown to tie it up, and just like that, Brooklyn's down 2. They get 2 right back, and we're even at 11.
First of the night for Brady Kiernan. Had 2 last night against Six Nations. Under 2 to play here in the 3rd. 4 goals apiece in the 1st, 4 goals apiece in the 2nd, 3 goals apiece here in the 3rd. Michael White gets it back for Brooklyn here. Kyle Waters slows it down here for Brooklyn. Flips this one back to Tanner Cook. He's got 2 goals, 5 assists in this one. Brady Kiernan, side arm. That shot gets stopped, and the rebound picked up by Connor Kiernan, who has 5 goals and 3 assists in this one. Tanner Cook, he fires, kicks out by Jackson Brown. That won't be over and back because it was stopped by the Cobourg goaltender. So Hutchcraft will pick it up on the goal line. Let time wind down a little bit. They've got a bunch of time and just trying to take this down. There'll be about 50 seconds left in the game. We're tied at 11. Brooklyn with the ball. Connor Kiernan lost his stick. Wesley fires a shot. That one misses. Kiernan got a piece of it, but it goes over and back against Brooklyn. 35 seconds to go in this one, and it's Cobourg ball, and they are going to call timeout.
Well, we've seen it once before at the end of the 1st period of play. Cobourg calls that timeout with almost this amount of time left on the clock, and Tanner Buck's able to get it off a set play to tie it up at the end of that period. Here, though, it is tied, and they're going to try to get the lead here on, won't be the last possession, but could very well be the last chance for either team here before potential extra time.
4.5 seconds is how much time Buck needed late in that 1st period. 11-11. Crowd here in Brooklyn's been gifted with a good game here tonight between these 2 teams.
And the fans along the boards and the glass are leaning forward. Everybody's paying close attention. Elbows are on people's knees. Everybody's inching forward to see the end of this one. You see the empty net there. Jackson Brown on the bench for the extra attacker, and here we go.
Marshall Palace will slow play this to start this possession for Cobourg. Try and get that game clock as low as possible to not give Brooklyn a chance to respond if Cobourg can score. 15 seconds to go in the game, 10 on the shot clock, and here we go. Palace sidesteps, flips it into the middle. Woods gets stopped, rebound side of the net, taken away by Brooklyn to the empty net. That will miss, and we are off to overtime.
Well, you called it. Not 12, but yeah, overtime indeed. 3 goals apiece that period. Has us at 11-11.
Big lacrosse brain.
Make a wish.
Big lacrosse brain. 11-11. What a game we've seen between these two teams. Connor Kiernan, 5 goals, 3 assists in this one for 8 points. How about the goaltending performance on either end of the floor from Jackson Brown and Riley Hutchcraft?
Yeah, and you see right there, David Anderson giving a fist bump to Riley Hutchcraft, who beat him 3 times.
Let's take a look at the third period highlights that got us here to overtime.
Well, it started off with Connor Kiernan right down low, right there, getting the first goal of that period for Brooklyn to get the lead, and then tying it up once again was David Anderson. Kind of had a quiet second period, but had a loud third period, and then it was Cobourg trying to get back on top, and it was Tanner Buck that was able to put that one home, and a bit of an interference play that was not called, and maybe just a play on at that point. And Kyle Waters grabs that ball, he gets right back into it to get Brooklyn back within 1. And then to tie it up, using the screen, going around the defender, it's Brady Kiernan to get the 11th goal of the game and tie it up for Brooklyn, which is where we sit, 11-11. And we're just talking things over, the officials and the coaching staff.
10-minute sudden death overtime. Mom's rules, next goal wins.
We've seen a couple overtime wins for Brooklyn this season. No stranger to extra time, and no stranger to coming out on top if that's the case.
Burn on the face-off for Brooklyn. Bo Columbus for Cobourg as they fight this one out. Ball pops up, and it's Tristan Hanna with the ball for Brooklyn. Brooklyn has the first chance to end it here in overtime. They're going to try and let the big dog eat. Yep. Connor Kiernan with 5 in this one. Off to Cook. That gets stopped. Rebound, Tanner Cook in front of the net. Wesley steps in front off the side of the goal. And that one bounces towards center floor where Connor Kiernan retains possession for Brooklyn. Kiernan off to Waters. Gets the screen from Wesley. Kyle Waters scores! Overtime winner! The hat trick for Kyle Waters, and Brooklyn clinches third place in Major Series Lacrosse with a 12-11 victory.
We said Brooklyn's done it before in overtime, and they do it once again. Kyle Waters, his 3rd goal of the night. After getting the rebound, Brooklyn did, for a fresh shot clock. Kyle Waters uses that screen up high. You'll see him cut to the right. They trade defenders, and before his man can get on him, he fires that one past Jackson Brown, who himself had a stellar game, but it wasn't enough to solve Brooklyn tonight as they take it 12-11 in overtime.
Unbelievable game on both sides of the floor. Riley Hutchcraft and Jackson Brown embrace after both of them play a phenomenal, one of the best goaltending matches we've seen, in a double-digit score for both sides. When I said it was 12-12 going into overtime, I meant first team 2-12.
Yeah, there you go. Now you know. You're my bookie. Come tomorrow. I'll be giving you a call.
Brooklyn wins this one 12-11. The next game goes next Wednesday, right here at the Iroquois Park Sports Center when the Peterborough Lakers roll into town. Second last game of the regular season for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club before they head to Peterborough on July 27th to wrap up the regular season. 7th win of the year for Brooklyn. They moved to 7-6. Cobourg falls to 3-10 on the year. They still have more chances down the stretch to clinch 4th place and that playoff spot, but they don't get it done here tonight against the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, who will be that 3rd place team in Major Series Lacrosse. We'll see you next Wednesday when the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club takes on the Peterborough Lakers here in Whitby. For John Green, our producer, our phenomenal crew here at RogersTV Durham, he's Andrew Osmond. I'm Jack Moore. Have a good night, and we'll see you next weekend.